Hello everybody, it's Bangkok Ian here. Just another quick weekly update, and I'm also going to do an 80's VR to my previous 90's VR, because I've seen a few people on my YouTube subscriptions and my YouTube friends, they've been doing an 80's VR to the same questions that I did on the 90's. So yeah, I hope that's not too complicated. But first, get some beer. Yes, you can still buy beer here. Bars are still closed, but yes, during the licensing hours in Thailand, you can buy beer from 11 till 2, and then after 5. So, still stocked up. Oh, sweet nectar. Okay, quick update on life in Thailand here. Things are going actually pretty good, all things considering. I believe there's been no new deaths to COVID-19 for more than 2 weeks now. I think there's only been 56 people who have succumbed to the illness total in Thailand. So yeah, really good statistics. And there's been no new cases for a couple of days, if I recall. And so yeah, it's I think we've definitely gone over the worst of it. Malls have been open for more than a week now, and they're still opening. They're still open fine. So yeah, things can go back to a sort of normal after all this nonsense, you know. You have to use your phone. If you go into a mall, it's a bit of a ball ache, but it's okay when you get used to it. When you enter a mall, you use your phone to take a photo of the QR code that's outside the mall and outside the shops. You take the photo of the QR code, and then your phone displays the website associated with the QR code, and you click on the link on your phone, and then you go to the Thai website. It's in English. I think if you use it uses the app language default of your phone. So my app language is English, so I get everything in English. Take a photo of the QR code, and it comes up. Are you checking into a place, or are you checking out? Check in. Click the check-in button, check out, click the check-out button, and then you ask a couple of questions as you check out. Like, was everyone wearing a mask? Was there alcohol gel available? Was social distancing being applied? All that good stuff. But it works all right. I mean, I thought it would be it would take a long time and be a lot of unnecessary bump. But there's lots and lots of the QR codes outside all the shops, so people just instant 10 seconds max, more like 2 or 3 seconds. You're logged in, and away you go. It must record your mobile phone number and send the details to the government and all that. Yeah, it is Big Brother, but you can't go in the mall if you don't do it, so you got no choice. You still have to wear a mask all the time. It's compulsory pretty much. I can't get to work if I don't wear a mask, because I have to take the SkyTrain, and they won't even let you on the SkyTrain if you don't have a mask. And yeah, it's been actually okay this week. I've been in the office every day this week, and I've had company in the office for the first time in more than a month. Started off very gradually, like 1 person on Monday, 2, then 3, and I'm up to 75% of my office staff are now in. So probably by the end of next week, I will probably be back to 100% of my staff again. It's been great having someone to talk to during the day. Social interaction. Oh, underrated. Yeah, it's been great talking to people, and so yeah, things are getting back to normal here. The airport is still closed. There's still a few. There's been a couple of repatriation flights. There's been Thais coming back from. I think some Thais came back from the UK, and some are coming back from Australia. And you have to go to an automatic government facility for 2 weeks. But there's no scheduled international flights. These are only just special flights organised by the government. There's still not going to be any proper international flights for business or tourism until the end of June at the earliest, I think. It just depends on what's going on with the rest of the world, you know. We shall see. But written down my answers for my 80s questions. So here we go. Right, so here we go. This is my 80s things that I loved. It's based on my 90s things that I loved that I did a few weeks ago. So the questions are still the same, but of course the answers will be different. So question 1. Favourite cartoon from the 80s? Oh dear. There were so many great cartoons. Again, I was born in '67, so I was 13 when the 80s started, and so I used to watch lots and lots of cartoons on on Swap Shop on Saturday morning, BBC TV, and Superstore and Tiswas and all those great TV shows. But if I had to choose a cartoon series that I absolutely loved, it would have to be the official Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. I think that started in 1982, and I absolutely loved it. I'd never even heard of Dungeons and Dragons until I saw the cartoon, and it was great. It was high fantasy, very much based on the board game, on the tabletop game. You had the elf, the wizard, the barbarian, and all that stuff, and you had the dungeon master, that little ball guy. Really, really good cartoon series. I really enjoyed watching it every week, and the stories were really good. The animation was good, and it was a really excellent cartoon series. So, Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, question 2: Sega or Nintendo? It has to be, for the 80s, has to be Sega for me, because the SNES didn't come out until 1990, and I think I got my Japanese Mega Drive. I never had a Master System, I never had an NES, and so it would have to be based on the Sega and Nintendo stuff that I had in the 80s. And I had a Mega Drive from launch, Japanese one. Got that in '88, and the only Nintendo console that I owned was the Japanese import Game Boy. But there weren't that many great games that came out for the Game Boy at launch. Yeah, there was Tetris, of course, but Tetris wasn't exactly an exclusive game. So I think I would have to go for Sega for the 80s, because that's just for the Mega Drive. There were some really great early Mega Drive games that I had, just because the SNES wasn't out until the 1990s. So Sega for that question. Question 3: favorite video game. The original question was favorite console game, but I didn't really have many consoles in the 80s, so I'm gonna go for favorite overall video game from the 80s. And this game was one of the factors that led me to getting a PC, and I'm a massive PC gamer. I always have been since I first got a PC in 89 or 90, and that game is the original Prince of Persia. I first started working in the oil field on the rigs in 1989, 88 and 89, and the game that we always used to play at work was original Jordan Mechner's Prince of Persia. I think it was the EGA version. You had to play using the keyboard, but what an amazing game that was. The animation still holds up for it. I mean, I think it came out on the Apple II and then the PC, and then it got pretty much ported to every single system that's ever been in existence. And yeah, it was years ahead of its time. Brilliant game. So yeah, I would go for Prince of Persia for my favorite video game of the 80s. Right, favorite comics. This is something that I can actually show for you. My favorite comic of the 80s, one of my all-time favorite comics of all time, it is Swamp Thing. Alan Moore's original run of Swamp Thing. Wow, absolutely amazing. I never had the original ones that came out. I got the graphic novels they were released in 1986, 87 or so in the UK. And they weren't colour, the reissues, they were black and white. But I absolutely love Swamp Thing. Always have done. And those Alan Moore stories, they were more, they weren't really a superhero, they were more horror based. And they introduced so many great characters. John Constantine, he was introduced in the pages of Swamp Thing. And wow. Absolutely amazing comic run. That's how I'd read Alan Moore comics before in 2000 AD, but I wasn't really familiar with his name until I heard about his Swamp Thing run. And yeah, I've loved the character ever since. And I even like that Warner Brothers TV series that came out, was it last year? That's one thing that was also really good too. Right, favorite pro wrestler. Again, I'm not really into wrestling, but I can remember the UK wrestling scene that you'd have. Was it Saturday afternoon on ITV when you'd have like, was it World of Sport with Dickie Davis, and there'd be an hour of wrestling. I'd remember because I would be at my grandparents' every Saturday afternoon. And they still had a black and white TV in the 80s, and I still remember, was it Giant Haystacks and Big Daddy? I mean, that's all I can remember. Those are the only two people I can think of from the 80s. Both rather large gentlemen. And so yeah, Giant Haystacks and Big Daddy. Okay. Number 6, favorite song and also your favorite music video. Be a break. Favorite song? I'm always been a massive Prince fan. He's sorely missed, and the 80s were my favorite decade from his music. So many great songs from Prince in the 1980s. But my favorite song was probably the first song that I heard from him, and that is 1999. I remember getting the album on 33. It was remember the old albums? It was great. Yeah, 1999. The album was great, and the songs. 1999, The Little Red Corvette. Absolutely stunning song. I still listen to it often on Spotify. So yeah, 1999 for song. Music video, I'd have to go. It's not Michael Jackson's Thriller. Everyone would choose that. Yeah, it is an amazing video. But I prefer Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer. Remember that stop motion video? Must have taken absolutely ages to record because it was all stop motion animation. It was a great song in its own right. Quite dirty if you listen to the lyrics and what the song's really about. But yeah, I'm a massive Peter Gabriel fan, and again, I bought the original album. I had a signed version of it. Peter Gabriel's, the album was called So, I believe, and yeah, the 80s was such a great decade for music videos. So many brilliant videos. So yeah, Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer for my favourite music video. And finally, my favourite live action TV show. This was really hard. It was a toss-up between Miami Vice or Hill Street Blues. I went for Hill Street Blues in the end because I love Miami Vice, but for what Hill Street Blues did to TV, I think the influence of Hill Street Blues was greater. Stephen Boccio, I mean, he completely changed the rules for all the police shows, all the drama shows, mixing action, mixing comedy, the cast, the writing. What an amazing TV show Hill Street Blues was. I mean, if only it was in widescreen, it would still just be as popular today, like many other TV shows, because it was just in 4:3 aspect ratio. It's sort of been forgotten because they can't really show it easily these days. But Hill Street Blues was an absolute game changer for TV, and I used to watch it religiously. Not just me, the whole family used to love it, you know, because it was a police show, but it was also funny and it was moving, and the cast, absolutely brilliant ensemble cast. And okay, they were, all the stories were pretty much standalone, but as the characters grew, you know, some of the stories got on week after week. Like James Sickin, his problems, and the police captain, his problems with alcoholism and all that. Absolutely brilliant. Hill Street Blues was an absolutely legendary TV show. Okay then, so hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope it didn't bore you too much then. So yeah, it's been a good week. Things are getting more and more normalized now. So hopefully that next week will bring even more things. All the bars are still closed. I can't really see them opening. State of emergency is still going to be on till end of June. So there's a curfew every night here. 11 o'clock, you can't be on the streets, otherwise you're in big trouble. But yeah, it's getting better and better and better. So yeah, it's encouraging. But okay then, that's all from me for now then. Thanks for watching. Cheers.